In this video, I'm going to give you guys 3 of the most common objections that your video production clients will inevitably at some point give you, and then how to overcome them. The first and probably most common objection that you're going to hear at some point or another from your potential clients is, your price is too high, can you do it for less? Now, I'm going to give you some actionable tips here to overcome that objection, the first of which should help you actually avoid this situation entirely. If you keep hearing this objection over and over, that your clients are broke and they can't afford your rates, chances are you're selling to the wrong people. For someone to buy any service, they have to be both willing and able. So I hear videographers all the time that complain about, for example, their music video clients not being able to pay them enough and how good their work is. But you have to understand where they're coming from. They're likely not making much, if any, money themselves, so of course they won't have much cash to pay you, no matter how awesome your work is. So the first bit of advice I have for you if your clients consistently don't have good budgets is to take a look at some other niches or other industries that might have more money to pay you. So for example, healthcare, luxury real estate, construction, the list goes on and on. Think of industries that historically make a lot of money. Next, if your client is telling you that you're too expensive, ultimately what that comes down to and what that means is they don't see the value. Again, your clients have to be both willing and able to pay you. And to be honest, usually if they just don't have the money, they'll straight up tell you that, hey, we don't have the money. But actually a lot of the times they will have access to the funds, but they just aren't seeing the value and they're not, convinced that they should spend that. And in that case, that means you've likely not explained the value that the videos that they're getting are actually providing and how those videos are actually going to grow their business. So for example, if you can justify how your brand story video, let's say that's what we're offering in this example, will make them at least $30,000 over the next year, charging, $8-10K for it should be no problem. So essentially though, to do this, you need to start thinking like a problem solver in addition to just a videographer that creates cool videos. All right, the second and also extremely common objection that you're gonna hear from your clients after, say presenting your proposal is, we'll think about it and get back to you, which, as I'm sure you already know by now, means no. We need to think about it is simply a nice way of saying no. And at this point, you should be fully prepared to get ghosted. But if this situation does come up, here's how I like to handle it to at least still have a shot at closing that deal. I'll say, cool, I totally understand. I get that this is a big investment, so I want you to make the best decision possible for you and your business. That being said though, most of the time when my clients say that they need to think about it, it actually just tells me I didn't do a good enough job explaining what it is that I'm offering and how it's going to help. Because if I did, most of my clients will just get started right away. So that being said, what questions do you still have about this project? This will open your clients up and they'll reveal their true objection, whether it be price, they're confused about what the deliverables are or what you're including. It could be anything really. But the idea is that you need to get to the root objection, because I need to think about it is totally just a smokescreen for what they're actually thinking. They're not telling you the truth. Now, if they still continue to say they just want to think about it, I will ask them roughly how much time do they need. Is it a day? Is it a week? Then depending on what they say, I'll set up a follow-up meeting right then and there. Because if you don't, they will either forget to follow up or they'll just get busy with another project because, let's face it, we're all busy. So you have to take control here and set up that next clear step or next meeting, or I can promise you it's not going to happen. The third deadly objection that you might hear that's going to stop your project dead in its tracks is your client tells you they're too busy right now and they want to get started in maybe 2, 3, 6 months or even more. Now, this objection might be legitimate, but in my experience, I'd say only about half the time it is, and there's usually just some form of miscommunication about how much time commitment creating content will be on their end. Sometimes I'll ask, hey, I'm just curious, how much time are you thinking this is going to take from you? Because a lot of the times they're going to think that it's a massive time investment, multi-days, multi-weeks, which sometimes it is on different productions. But let's say you're just creating, reels or content for social media for a real estate agent on retainer. You could easily batch a month's worth of reels in literally just a couple or a few hours of shooting. So sometimes it just takes explaining to your client and working around their schedule, because they just don't know how much time it's going to take sometimes. Once they find out it's only a few hours of their time, they have no problem, and that's all it was. Another angle that I'll take is I'll use this objection actually to my advantage. I'll say something like, believe it or not, being busy would be a great time to get started because it means we'll have plenty of material to capture. Sometimes when my clients wait until their slow season, then they realize there's not as much to capture, and then we actually end up waiting until they get busy again to get started. So that's what I'll tell my client, and that's so key in sales. Most objections you can actually flip into selling points that make your argument even stronger. So there you have it, guys. These were 3 super common objections that I've heard over and over again, and also overcome dozens of times in my own video production business. Hopefully this video was valuable. If you want 14 more objections and how to handle those, I've actually linked a free guide of mine on objection handling right below this video. Now, I've also included a link right down below this video to my team's calendar. Because if you're a videographer that's stuck, between 3, 5, and maybe 6K a month, and you want to breach through and grow to those 15K months and scale your video business, I can help you. I have a coaching program that specifically helps videographers dominate the business side, learn lead generation, learn sales, learn all that good stuff, and get tapped into an awesome community of videographers making 6 figures. So on this call, if you decide to book it using the link down below, what we'll do is just get to know you and your business. And if we don't think we can help you, we will not extend an offer to do so, because the last thing that I want to do is offer you something you just don't need. But I've helped over 100 videographers now grow their video businesses to 6 figures per year and well over 10 to 15K per month by teaching them all of the business side, like lead generation, great sales, how to properly market and attract high value clients and high paying clients. So if that's you, consider booking a call down below and we'll get you to hit your goals faster and quicker than doing it on your own. If not, no worries. Check out my Instagram, hang around here on YouTube for all the content I post every single week to help you do so. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.